Okay, so welcome back to the part 2 of our discussion. So we will now proceed with providing the background of the study. So the question is, what are the contents of the background of the study? So now that is worth noting that when writing the introduction or background of the study, the researcher must bear in mind the following questions. First, what is the rationale of the research problem? When we see rationale of the research problem, it simply aims to answer the question why. Why are you conducting this study in the first place? Next, what is the setting of a research problem? Identifying the setting of the research problem would help the researcher be able to explain the context or the content of the study. Next one, what is the basic literature foundation of the study? So where can we find the information here? So the information can be found based on your initial readings. That is why it is important for us to conduct initial readings so that we would have an idea regarding the information or topic that we will be discussing. So next, how serious is the chosen research problem is? How important it is for us to find the answers or solutions to the problems that we have presented, or how important it is to address the topics or issues that we had identified here. And lastly, what is the general objective or overall purpose of the problem? So, who would we benefit for this particular research, or how would the results or the particular study bring about the change in our society? Okay, so of course, after we have finished constructing the background of the study, we now proceed with formulating the research statement and questions. Okay, now before we continue, let's try to define research statement and research questions. Okay, a research problem statement is a general statement that encompasses the main objective and purpose of conducting a study, while a research questions are questions that are anchored to the research problem that the researcher aims to answer at the end of the study. Furthermore, research questions are specific areas or concepts in the research problem that needs clarification. So it is worth noting that the research questions and research problem statement are interconnected, as simply the research questions are more specific version of your research problem statement. Okay, so now when writing the statement of the problem, bear in mind the following. So first, what are the main tasks that you are going to do in your study? So pretty much you are going to answer the question, what are you going to do, or what will you do with the variables? So next or second, what are the main or major variables involved? Third, who are the participants? Okay, so participants here refers to the subjects or the respondents that are involved in your study. After which, you're going to explain the specific setting. So remember earlier, we mentioned the explaining or including the specific setting would allow the researcher to identify how the study is specific or narrow down in terms of research context. Next would be the coverage date of the conduct of the study. So which would answer the question from when until when. Okay, and then last would be the intended outputs. So what are the outputs or results that you are expecting, or what are you expected at the end of the study? Okay, so of course when writing the questions, bear in mind the following. So research question must meet the following criteria. First, they must be in a question form. Hence, it is a research question. Okay, then second, they must define the population, okay, or the sample of the study. Then third, they must identify the variables being tested. Fourth, they must be empirically tested, and of course, they must be accordance with the research design. That is why it is important for you to identify what kind of research design you will be using when conducting a particular research. By identifying the research design, you'd be able to formulate the questions that would be in accordance with the design that you have selected. As a researchers, it is important to become familiar with the essentials of learning on how to write the initial parts of the research paper. Being able to have an effective start when writing the research paper would help us be able to proceed to the succeeding parts as smoothly as possible.